Hello, everyone. This is Dare to Speak, and I want to share with you a personal story of something that happened to me back in June 26th, 2003. And what happened was I was almost killed by Latin Kings. This happened in the summer of June 26, 2003, where I had a brush with death. I was mugged by a young lady around she was about age 19 or 20, something like that. And she came at me with a sawed-off shotgun to rob me. She lived a block away from my house, and at night I left to go to work. I walked down the block and she came from behind, and I heard, and then she poked me in the rib and told me to get down on the ground. I didn't trust her, and even though I was scared, I had that anger of that helplessness. And I had that fight or flight response, and I chose flight. I chose fight. So I disarmed her, I punched her in the face, and just pried the sawed-off shotgun off of her hands, only to find out that it wasn't even loaded. About 15 to 20 thugs, punks, 15, 16-year-olds. Most of them are minors. Only a few of them were like 18 or 19 years old. They came running at me and they chased me down the block, tackled me down, and I hit the pavement real hard, fractured my arm as a result of it, and they kicked me and just stomped me to death, or almost to death, I'm sorry. They just stomped on my head real hard with the attempts to kill me. And I was afraid I was going to die. Not from the beating itself. I thought that maybe one of them was going to pull out a gun and, just shoot me. Or get stabbed to death or something like that. But obviously that didn't happen. And then after stomping on me for a good 20 to 25 seconds or so, they left. One of them decided to be a little vindictive and decided to give me one good stomp on the head right before he left. He just stomped on my head saying, "Stupid motherfucker," and then pow, just stomped on my head real hard and then took off. I laid there for about a minute, all bloodied, and then I just got up and went to the nearest, this Mexican restaurant that was a couple of blocks away, that was open 24 hours, and then I went in. Here I am all drenched with blood. And they called an ambulance and the police and took me to the hospital. I ended up getting 25 stitches in my head and 5 staples as a result from the beating. This is what I had to suffer, along with some degree of brain damage, which will possibly be with me for the rest of my life. I don't know, but that was the injuries that I got. I was going through so much psychological and emotional torment along with the physical. Because after the hospital, I had to go back to the crime scene with the cops and point out the people that actually did it. I had to go to court. In the preliminary court, there wasn't enough evidence for them to be charged with anything just because I didn't see them attack me. Which was very stupid. Here I am going like this on the ground. I'm actually gonna take the time and look to see who's actually attacking me. Come on. And one guy who was 19 years old just smiled at me because he got away with it. And for like a good almost 3 months, I had to suffer the aftermath of it. And then I found out later that the girl that tried to rob me with the shotgun, she got busted trying to steal a car. And in order to avoid going to jail for that, for auto theft, she ratted everybody out. And she ratted out the guy who smiled at me and left. And then when I saw him in the courtroom again, he was in his orange jumpsuit, where he belongs, kind of thing. And he wasn't smiling anymore. When they found him guilty and all the other stuff, and when I was there for the sentencing, he got 10 years imprisonment, 10 years to go to prison, and 5 years probation. He just blew his top. He was in serious rage and said, I'm gonna do 10 years for this motherfucker. I hate this motherfucker. I hate this motherfucker. And he just turned at me. And he just came at me and says, fuck you. Fuck you. And then the guards had to actually grab him and take him away. As if I was to blame for it or some stupid shit like that. He was the one that tried to kill me. Anyways, after that, and the girl that she ended up, because of the fact that she ratted everybody out, she cut a deal. She ended up getting 189 days in county jail. And the thing is, I almost died. And I'm very lucky to be alive. Even though the brain damage I got is mild, so I don't know if you guys noticed from my other videos that I have a little bit of, the way I talk is a little bit all kind of messed up, and it's because of the result of that. So just in case if you're curious, if you took notice of it, my speech is just a tad bit messed up. I don't know how many times I got stomped in the head, but it was so hard. It was a good thing I didn't die. There were actually, I found out later, there were members of the Latin Kings, and these are like the new school kind, And I grew up with Latin Kings back in the 1980s. When I was 16, 17 years old, back then, I mean, I knew a lot of them. I was never affiliated with them. I didn't see any future in it. I didn't care for it. But I know a lot of them. There were Latin Kings. I knew a couple of other guys that were, and they used to be ex-Spanish Cobras. They used to be in the Spanish Cobras, but not anymore. And a couple of other gangs and stuff like that too. But these guys were just like, they didn't know me and I didn't know them. And most of them were minors, and the other kids ended up getting a slap on the wrist just because they were minors. They ended up getting probation when they should have gotten jail time for it. For almost killing me, they got probation. but at least one of them ended up getting 10 years in prison, and at least I got some justice out of it. And seeing them getting angry at me just gave me some degree of satisfaction. So that was my brush with death that I wanted to share with all of you, just to let you know. So if you want to post a comment, just, you know, let me know what you think and stuff like that. And again, I'm just lucky to be alive. And it was about 16 years ago, I think, when that happened. And it was just horrific, the whole thing. I mean, it was the first time I ever had someone point a gun at me, and now I'm phobic because of that. You know, I got post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, I guess I can get over it or something, I don't know. Well, just to let you guys know, if you want to post a comment about what you think, you know, it's up to you. So again, take care.